A long time ago, in a quiet valley surrounded by green hills and tall forests, there was a small, peaceful village. In this village lived a young boy named Ronald. He was cheerful, kind-hearted, and always ready to help anyone in need. But one year, everything changed. There was no rain at all. Day after day, the sun burned hotter and hotter. The ground cracked open. The crops dried up. Even the once strong trees began to wither. Animals wandered desperately in search of water, and the village stream, the village's lifeline, became nothing more than a few tiny puddles. The villagers gathered every evening, worried and frightened. What will happen to us? How will our children survive? How long can we live without water? Ronald listened to them quietly. He felt their pain, but deep in his heart, he felt a spark of hope. One night, under the bright full moon, Ronald stood up in the middle of the village and spoke with courage. He said, "My grandfather used to tell me a story about a river flowing deep beneath our village. If we dig together, maybe, just maybe, we can find it." The villagers looked at each other. First, they were doubtful, but then a little bit of hope returned to their eyes. They agreed to try. The very next morning, everyone gathered with shovels and tools. They began digging, hour after hour, day after day under the burning sun. Sweat poured from their faces, but they kept going. 2 days passed, then 3, then an entire week. But the ground was too hard. They found nothing. Slowly, one by one, the villagers lost hope. They dropped their shovels and said, "Maybe the old story was just a myth. We can't go on anymore." And they walked away. But Ronald did not give up. He stood alone beside the half-dug pit, picked up his shovel, and said softly to himself, "I will not lose hope. Water is down there, I know it. I won't stop until I find it." And so, he dug. He dug in the hot mornings. He dug in the cool evenings. He dug when others were sleeping. He dug when others had given up. Days passed. His hands blistered. His arms ached, but his determination only grew stronger. Then, one afternoon, something changed. As Ronald pushed his shovel deep into the earth, he smelled something fresh, something different. Excited, he dug faster and faster. Suddenly, splash! A burst of cool, crystal-clear water shot out from the ground. He stepped back in amazement. Water, real water, was rushing out of the earth like a miracle. He shouted with joy, "Water! We found water!" The villagers heard his voice and ran to him. They couldn't believe their eyes. Some laughed, some cried. Children splashed in the fresh water. The entire village was saved because of one boy who refused to give up. Days later, as the village returned to life, as trees turned green again, as animals returned, as crops began to grow, the villagers gathered around Ronald. He smiled humbly and said, "Remember, never give up too soon. Sometimes success is just a few steps deeper." And from that day forward, Ronald became known as the hero of the drought, the boy whose courage and determination brought life back to an entire village.